Have you ever seen anything like this before?
The teeth are loose. Somebody's hit her hard, just... Yeah. Something sharp been driven right through her skull. You searched the pockets?
Yeah. Train ticket to London with tomorrow's date on it.
Who found her?
Lady over there, sir.
I come in to do the flowers for the early mass, Pet. And there she was, laid out like Sleeping Beauty. What'll her mum say? It'll kill her.
Do you know her?
Little Audrey Chadwick, aye. She was a bonny lass. Her mother comes to the mass.
Will she be outside now?
No, Flower, she comes to 9 o'clock. Her man never comes. He's a heathen. You can't miss either of them. He's got a Fu Manchu. And she's hied a leg ever since she was a bairn, poor lamb.
Father's got a moustache, mother walks with a limp.
Right.
Well, she could have been there all night, sir. Confessions finish about 8. Doors are never locked.
Did Audrey live here?
No, she had her own place.
Well, we'll need her address. What did she do for a living?
She's a nurse.
And do you have any idea why she would be going to London?
She's got a new job. Teaching hospital. You start.
She said she'd be back for Christmas. Dear God, this cannot have happened!
Worst part of the job, Sergeant. You're very quiet.
She wasn't a nurse, sir. At least not when I met her.
Hi, handsome. How we doing here? First time in breaks, is it?
Yeah. No, it's fine. I can do that.
Nobody looking after you?
I'm fine.
Well, how about I sit here and talk to you a minute? I'm Blaze.
Blaze.
And you are?
I'm John.
And what do you do for a living, John?
I'm a plumber. Does this cost extra, is it?
No, I was just being friendly.
And what is it you do for a living then, Blaze?
I'm a fox, John. I'm a cocktail waitress.
Really?
What were you doing at Rake's Club in the first place?
I was curious.
Curious?
Lonely.
Well, that's because you went without me. You'll pay him a visit tonight. Right, pathologist's first estimate, she died between 2 and 10. Time to start filling this in. What was this place?
Used to be a warehouse. Wait till you see it inside, though, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How come you've got a membership card?
You get a 30-day trial.
How many times you been here?
Yeah. You know, just maybe.
Hey, John.
Hey!
How's the Ubins going?
I didn't realise you worked on Sunday.
Well, I don't usually. I'm Fawn.
George.
So what's your poison, George?
Oh, I'll have what John has.
Champagne, then?
Really? Phone. I understand the owner lives over the shop.
Penthouse apartment.
Tell him I'd like to see him.
George, Mr. Donovan's a very busy man.
Tell him Chief Inspector George Gently would really like to see him. And forget the champagne.
Police? Are you in trouble, John?
A little bit.
You, Benz?
Well, I wasn't going to tell her I was a copper, was I?
Oh, no, of course not. How could a police sergeant with a wife and kid to support afford champagne? Whereas a plumber...
All right.
Exactly how many times have you been here?
4.
And how can you afford champagne?
I can't.
Was the dead woman always here?
Well, I just met her that first time and never saw her after that. I'll explain later.
Pass P for Penthouse, I'll meet you up there.
Gentlemen, Patrick Donovan, my wife Helen.
Gentlemen.
What this time? Not enough fire hoses? You know, in the States, we have a word for this. Harassment.
I've come to talk to you about Audrey Chandby.
Audrey.
Blaze.
What about her?
I'm afraid she's been murdered.
She was probably the most natural of any of the girls.
Apart from anything else, she was the perfect fox.
So what makes the perfect fox, Mr. Donovan?
Well, let's be frank. Number 1, the body.
The rear view's important in a fox, I expect.
What else do you expect, Audrey?
Colours blazed. Just blazed.
Why just Blaze?
Because there's no modesty, Mrs. Donovan. That's probably all you need to know about me.
And what do you know about us, my lovely?
I know, in America, the average fox works for 2 years, then marries a millionaire. Or so I read in the Mirror.
It worked out that way for me.
But my wife was no average fox.
Nor will I be.
You know what Rakes does? You understand what it is and what it isn't?
I understand, Mr. Donovan. I've understood since I was 15 years old what men want from me. As long as it's me who decides what they get and what they don't get, I'll be happy.
We'll train you. We'll polish you. But we expect total dedication to the Rakes brand.
You'll get it.
What do you think, Helen?
Oh, I think she's hired, Patrick.
Well, that all sounds very sophisticated. Of course, there are those that think you're just a posh knocking shop selling overpriced booze.
The people who think that will be outside right now.
Who?
Come see.
We shall overcome someday.
The God Squad, every Sunday night.
What is it they say in Europe about you? On the continent, we have sex lives. In England, they have hot water bottles. I have a mission in life. I'd like to change all that for you guys.
When did you last see Audrey?
When she left, 3 weeks ago.
Why did she leave?
Pastors knew, I didn't ask.
What, you didn't bother to ask her? Even though she was the perfect fox?
No, I didn't ask.
How many hostesses are there working here at any one time?
15?
Do you transport them home after they finish?
No.
Start doing so. I'll put a uniformed officer outside your door at all times.
Now, that won't be good for business.
I don't care about your business. I care about the safety of these young women.
Do you have any idea who might have done this, Chief Inspector?
Her parents believed that she was working as a nurse. Do you know why she told them that?
Mr. Gently, what the girls do or say outside these four walls is not my concern. Outside is what is laughingly known as real life. We don't do real life in here.
Uh-huh. Who knew her best?
Audrey was a loner.
I shall need to speak to all the women who work here.
And maybe I should talk to them first.
You will talk to nobody. Did she share a dressing room with anybody?
Fawn.
Then we'll start with Fawn.
I trust that bloke about as far as I can throw him.
Really? Don't take up poker, Sergeant. Exactly how well do you know this woman, Sergeant?
We had farewell drinks in here on Saturday afternoon.
What time was this?
After we closed about 3. She left at about 4:30.
Do you know where she went?
She said she was going back to her flat to pack.
Why was she leaving, Fawn?
Don't know.
Her dad knew she was working here then.
He came in one night with Frank Hallingham. Someone had told him that she'd give up nursing to work here. He thought she was throwing her life to the dogs.
Who's Frank Ellingham?
Her ex-boyfriend. He's a footballer. At least he thinks he's a footballer. He's a sad case like most of the blokes round here.
Did they cause any trouble?
Frank picked a fight, but the police were called.
A fight with who?
Mr. Donovan.
Why Mr. Donovan?
He's the boss, I suppose. Frank's such an idiot. He made the same assumptions that most blokes make about what we do. You know, it's surprising how many of them take the wedding rings off at the door, Mr. Gently.
And what assumption was that, then? What's your real name, by the way?
Fawn Granger.
It is Fawn Granger.
We're supposed to sell the idea of sex, Mr. Gently.
Has it occurred to you that some men might not make that distinction, especially after a night's drinking?
Well, that's her problem.
Is it? Did she have any friends among the customers?
We're not allowed.
No, but clearly it happens. Well, was she seeing one of the customers, perhaps? Or maybe somebody in the club? We will need to speak to you again. I'm sorry you lost your friend, Miss Granger.
No, thank you. No, I'm not interested. No.
Where is your wife tonight? You've been here before.
Sorry?
Haven't you got a wife or a daughter? Do you want to see them cheapening themselves in this way?
We're police officers. A young woman who worked here was found murdered this morning. So I would ask you, as a mark of respect, to disperse and go home. Now, please. Please. Now.
Bunch of weirdos.
Nothing weird about people who see the world differently than you, Sergeant.
Which girl was it?
Audrey Chadwick.
Audrey. A life for a life.
What's that supposed to mean?
The Lord punishes our wickedness.
Can I take your name, please, love?
Margaret Bishop.
Margaret Bishop.
I have nothing to hide. There is a house in this city where abortion is performed on a weekly basis, and a blind eye's turned towards it. In England, in the 20th century. Why aren't you investigating those murders? I'll pray for Audrey's soul.
Oh, great, that would really help.
May I have a leaflet?
She's off her head.
When I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. And why don't you take some leaflets?
What for?
Fingerprints?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, I wasn't...
Thinking like a policeman, no. Now, what's going on between you and Fawn Granger?
Nothing. Look, sorry, okay, I should have told you about the club.
Don't ever put me in that position again. How was I supposed to know what Fawn was hiding when it could have been you she was lying about?
So, hiding?
You're just a kid, aren't you? You got no self-discipline. You want sweeties all the time. I want a full account. Come and find me tomorrow.
Sir, no, I didn't bring my car.
Well, walk.
Sir, no, come on.
Going somewhere, Fawn?
I didn't say anything. I promise, I swear to God.
This is book, pal.
What do you want?
I want to talk, and you command your own business, pal.
Who am I talking to? A single plumber or a married policeman?
You're talking to me.
Why did you lie to me?
I'm so sorry. It's just, my life is... And the important thing now is what happened to Audrey. You've got to trust me. What is he not telling us?
Trust you? You're the last person I'll ever trust. Just get out, will you?
Look, Fawn, has it got anything to do with an abortion? Because if it has, then...
I don't know anything about an abortion. Will you just get out? Leave me alone.
All right. Please take this. You can phone me at any time. Where can I get hold of you? What's your address?
Well, just get out, will you?
All right.
Forensic report.
Yep. The blow to the side of the head definitely killed her. Something sharp, driven about an inch into her brain.
Somebody was angry.
She also had an abortion, sir, within the last couple of weeks.
Since she left Rexon. Anything on the ex-boyfriend?
Yeah. This is him. Frank Ellingham.
Handsome devil.
Played for South Shields in Stockton on Saturday afternoon, sir, so he's got an alibi up until the bus dropped him off about 9:30.
Pick him up.
Yeah, we have tried, sir. Can't find him.
Well, try harder. Next, get me an address for Margaret Bishop. I want to talk to her again.
Because that loony stuff about God punishing us and that.
She's entitled to her opinion on that. There's a much better reason for wanting to talk to her. Donovan said that the God Squad assembled outside Rakes every Sunday evening, right? But Fawn said that she hardly ever worked on a Sunday. Which means, I presume, that you never went there on a Sunday because Fawn was the big attraction, am I right? Yeah, right. But Margaret Bishop said she recognised you. So what's that tell you?
Well, that she watches the place every night, maybe.
Maybe. So she might have seen something that's useful to us. Now then, Fawn Granger.
Okay, I saw her a couple of times at the club, right? She served me drinks, she sat down, she chatted to me. I enjoyed her company, all right? I admit it.
And you took your wedding ring off.
So what's all this about then, sir?
Boxing?
Yeah.
It's about respect. Respect for yourself. Respect for your opponent. It's about self-discipline. Because if you get angry, you get beaten. You finding me amusing, John?
Just think you should stick to fishing. I mean, I know you used to box in the army and that.
For the army. I used to box for the army.
20 years ago.
Meaning?
That's not very dignified, is it, sir, man at your age? I mean, look what happened to Sonny Liston. Should have admitted it was past it.
You think you could beat me then, Sergeant? Hey? Cassius Clay to my Sonny Liston, is that it? No, seriously. 3 rounds for charity. All proceeds to the police widows.
Never done any boxing.
No, but you've hammered a few villains in your time, haven't you? Hey?
All right.
Well, you got 3 weeks to learn. Tell you what, I'll make it easy for you. You land 3 punches on me, you win, I lose. 3 punches anywhere, providing it's not below the belt.
3 punches?
Yeah.
All right, you're on. When was the last time you saw Audrey, Mrs. Beanie?
On Saturday. She was meant to clear all her stuff up at the end of the day. She never came back. I know now why.
How long has she roomed here?
6 months.
And before that?
Living at home, she said.
Since she started working at Rakes.
You think her dad threw her out?
Where is everything?
Oh, well, I've a new tenant coming in this afternoon, you see, so I needed to give the place a good
You
clear.
were told yesterday to leave everything as it was.
See, I'd already cleaned it out.
Where are her things?
This way.
So if Audrey didn't clean out her things, she might still have had her keys with her.
Oh, yes.
There's no keys on the body, Gov.
Was there a boyfriend?
Well, now, I frowned on that sort of thing.
Was there a boyfriend?
There was a young man came round now and then. Handsome fella. But they were forever fighting. The noise was terrible, and the language. Oh, dear me.
What sort of thing?
And he called her a slut, and a hooer, and a... Oh, well, I don't know. She seemed a nice enough girl to me. I mean, nurses aren't hooers, are they?
When was the last time the boyfriend was here?
Saturday, shouting his head off. You made a bloody fool out of me, you little so-and-so. Only not so-and-so, you know. Then he clod down the stairs and slammed the door.
Did you actually see him?
I'm not the nosy sort, love.
So you heard a man call Audrey a slut and a whore? And this was what time on Saturday?
About 5 o'clock.
And when you cleaned the room, did you see any signs of a struggle? Any blood anywhere?
This is a decent place, Pet.
That's yes or no, please, Mrs. Beanie. Blood or no blood, mess or no mess?
It was spick and span.
And was Audrey's room normally spick and span?
Well, it's not my place to go looking into people's rooms.
But you might have done sometimes out of curiosity.
Well, sometimes maybe. Just to check whether maybe they hadn't left the gas on or...
So was Audrey's room normally spick and span the way it was when you went in yesterday?
Sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't.
Thank you.
It's like the Gestapo.
Well, I'm sorry to persecute you, but one more question. After the man left, did you actually see Audrey again?
Well, I thought I ought to go up and see that she was all right. And she wouldn't open the door to us, but she said she was all right. I think he belted her.
And he didn't come back?
Well, I don't know, Pet. I mean, I was at the bingo all night.
Sorry, what is this?
Oh, just the rubbish out of her bin.
She was on the pill.
You mean she was married?
Do you think it was the boyfriend that belted her?
More the dad, who apparently can't cope with the fact that his daughter is a cocktail waitress instead of a nurse. Why were there 3 empty packets of pills?
What do you mean?
You only use 1 packet a month. Why were there 3 empty packets in 1 waste bin?
I don't know.
No. Nor me. Next question, how did you get hold of the pills in the first place?
Well, it's not illegal to take them, is it?
No, but it is illegal to prescribe them to an unmarried woman.
Friendly doctor. Maybe the same one that founded that abortionist. No, hang on. If she was on the pill, how did she end up pregnant?
Packets were empty.
And why didn't she get some more?
I don't know, Sergeant. Find out who her GP was. And find that boyfriend.
Right. Where are you going?
Rakes. Alone. Point of exhibition, please.
Well, Mr. Gently, for you, I'll be a fox again.
Did Audrey enjoy working for you, Mrs. Donovan?
She was born for it. She was so good, she was training the new recruits after a month.
Knees together. Back arched. Bottom tucked. Yeah, I know we're all going to want hip replacements by the time we're 30. But never mind, because the gentlemen think we are so fascinated in their conversation when we adopt this spine-knackering posture. Don't forget the face, Fawn. It's the most important bit after your booze. Especially a face like yours, it'll be your fortune pet. Like so. The interested expression. Your wife's had another hysterectomy, counsellor, such a body. She's our world beater mind. More champagne to celebrate. This next one is called the Foxy Bob, and I believe it was patented by Mrs. Donovan herself. Back straight, knees together. That's it, keep your chin up.
Wasn't that your job?
Yeah.
Was Audrey having an affair with someone at the club, Mrs. Donovan?
Such as, Chief Inspector?
Such as your husband. She was the perfect fox, after all.
No, I wasn't aware of Audrey having an affair with anyone.
Yes, that's what Fawn said. I think she was lying. What we're talking about here, Mrs. Donovan, an open marriage.
Patrick and I have a sophisticated relationship, if that's what you mean.
How modern. So he gets to sleep with any girl that takes his fancy, and you... What do you get out of it?
I love my husband, Mr. Gently.
And how humiliating.
Do you know, when you have travelled the world a bit, not spend your whole life on a small island that can't make its mind up if the war's over, but still watches black and white television and likes tripe and onion for tea, you aren't so afraid of freedom.
Freedom, is it?
Patrick tires of them after a week or two. He always comes back because he loves me as much as I love him.
Maybe it will catch on this small island. Personally, I hope not.
Then, I hope you'll enjoy your hot water bottles.
Oh, I'd like to speak to Fawn Granger again.
Fawn's taken a few days off, understandably.
Then could you get her address for me, please?
Of course.
Tell him I need to speak to him, please.
Who's that?
But a business associate of my husband's.
Cold?
Joe something. I'll get that address.
On the house?
Excuse me. Any of the football lads in?
Yeah, 2 or 3 in the back room.
In the back. Thanks. Drowning Soros, right? It's not that bad getting beat off Stockton, is it?
We'll get lost, Skinny.
Audrey messing you around, was she?
I I loved her.
Is that why you went round Saturday night after the match and gave her a smack round the head?
Eh? I haven't seen her for weeks, man.
That's not what the landlady told me.
A stupid cow.
Oi. So what were you so angry about, Frank? Was it the abortion?
Abortion?
Bairn was yours, was it? Come on, Frank, just talk to us, will you?
I'll kill that bastard!
Frank, kill her, right? Come on. I'm arresting you, Frank. What are you doing, man?
Ah, what the...
I'm so sorry, I was looking for the gents. Sit down, please.
Chief Inspector Gently. Always a pleasure, but next time, make an appointment.
I don't need an appointment. I'm investigating a murder. Now, what's your business here, Mr.
Mr. Bishop is a lawyer.
Bishop? Not by any chance related to a woman I met yesterday, Margaret Bishop?
Yes. Margaret is my wife.
Oh, interesting. And why did you need to see Mr. Donovan so urgently?
Are you questioning me about something?
Are you a member of Rakes, Mr. Bishop?
This was a professional visit.
And do all the lawyers in Newcastle get drinks on the house? Did you know Audrey Chadwick?
Who?
She was murdered on Saturday. She used to work here. Very beautiful young woman, the perfect fox. Ring any bells?
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with the place.
You were very familiar with Mrs. Donovan. Oh.
Mr. Gently. Thought I'd lost you.
Thank you.
Dawn's address.
Well, I'll be off then. Very nice to meet you, Mr. Gently.
I will be meeting again. I'd need your address, please.
14 Denby Terrace, Gosforth.
Mr. Gently. Patrick and I loved Audrey. Please, catch her killer.
Mm-hmm. Better learn to keep your left up, Sergeant. Could Allingham be our man, do you think?
It's possible. But he only stuck the nut in us when I said abortion.
You didn't know about that?
No. Although I think he knows who does. He said, I'm gonna kill that bastard.
Meaning who?
We didn't chat much after that.
Patrick Donovan, maybe. Or his friend, Mr. Bishop.
Bishop?
Yeah, he's married to that woman we met outside. And he lied to me about how many times he'd visited Rakes. Mind you, that seems to be par for the course. What's this?
Oh, I found that in Audrey's rubbish.
It's a prayer card.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. I will pray for both your souls. Fingerprints?
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, good.
Just waiting for the report, right?
I paid a call on your friend, Fawn Granger.
And?
Her flatmates haven't seen or heard of her since we saw her on Sunday. She's frightened of something. Or somebody. We need to find her.
Has your friend hurt his nose?
Do you prescribe these pills, Dr. Sprague?
Of course. To any married woman who wants them.
Did you prescribe these to Audrey Chadwick?
I read about Audrey's murder.
Did you prescribe these pills?
Yes. Look, this archaic law will be changed soon.
Well, you want to get yourself a calendar, love, because this is now. It's not soon. So you're saying that any lass that sleeps with whoever she likes can come in off the street and you're going to help her deal with the consequences?
If I may say so, only a man could have said that.
When did you prescribe them, Doctor?
About 6 months ago, for 3 months, and then a further 6 months.
So she should have been fully protected against pregnancy right up until she died?
Assuming she'd taken them.
Why wouldn't she take them?
Well, if she was fully protected, Dr. Sprague, then why did she need an abortion?
An abortion? Well, how would I know about that?
Well, I didn't ask if you knew about it, did I?
What's your view on abortion, Doctor?
My view is that it's a criminal offence.
Do you think that law will be changed?
Yes, I do. Eventually.
And in the meantime?
In the meantime, women are forced to make a choice between an unwanted child and a risky operation.
When was the last time you saw Audrey?
I can't remember the exact date, but the receptionist will tell you. Now, would you like me to look at your nose?
I think Dr. Sprague's one of these lesbians. And a backstreet abortionist.
Here you go, Sarge.
Where do you sit on the abortion issue, then?
Me? Exactly where the doctor sits. It's a criminal offence. Oh, bingo. Look, look. We've got a matching thumbprint on one of the God Squad leaflets and on the prayer card.
So a cross on the leaflet?
Yeah. Why?
I put it there. That's the one Margaret Bishop gave me.
Are you here? Didn't realise you were in. I was in the dark room. Do you want one?
Going out this evening, eh? Carrying on the crusade.
Joe. What's happening to this world? I feel like I'm trying to stem a tide and so alone, you know.
I think you should stop.
I can't stop, Joe. I can't turn a blind eye to all the badness. I can't. I just feel...
That you're right and everybody else is wrong.
I'm not saying anybody else is wrong. I'm just...
You are, actually. You are. That's what you do. Make everybody else feel like they failed. And the rest of us sinners shouldn't be on earth. I worry about you sometimes, Margaret. Please, stop it, Margaret.
Search warrant?
I need a search warrant if I think there's a crime about to be committed. What's the bucket for? The scraps? They do come out in pieces, don't they?
Again, only a man could have said that.
A policeman. And you're breaking the law.
A law made by men.
Might not be able to prosecute you on this evidence, but expect a letter from the health authority. You might find it difficult to get another job, Doctor.
You're a bastard. Before you go, that woman there, 38 years old and living on the breadline with a chronically sick husband and 5 children under the age of 12. She and her husband haven't made love for 3 years. She found a bit of comfort elsewhere and fell pregnant. Having a child by another man will utterly destroy what's left of her life. Now, what would you advise her to do, Sergeant? Write to her MP? Hope that she wins the pools? Use a knitting needle on herself and die in a pool of her own blood?
No, I'm sorry. Audrey Chadwick did not have a crippled husband or 5 other kids, so why did she need an abortion?
Can't you hear yourself? She needed an abortion because her stupid boyfriend flushed her pills down the loo, that's why.
Frank Allingham, was he the father?
I don't know who the father was.
That's how she got pregnant. Why did she need an abortion?
Because she'd been raped, Sergeant.
Who raped her?
I don't know who it was. But Audrey had no secrets from her friend Fawn. Why don't you ask her?
Or what if I could find her? I told you she'd be here.
Get the Donovans lined up for me. Don't tell him anything. And don't let them talk to each other. I'll be up in a minute. Would you mind telling me what you're doing, Mrs. Bishop?
I send the numbers of the cars to the newspapers. I send photographs of the men.
You photograph everybody who goes into rapes.
They never print them, of course.
You want to punish the men who come here, is that it? And what about the women who work here? Do you think they should be punished as well? I believe you sent this card to the dead woman. Would you like to explain the message to me?
I said I'd pray for her soul, and I have done.
It's not a threat, then?
Of course not.
And you say souls plural. Who would that be?
Hers. And the soul of the tiny life I wanted her not to kill.
It's her, Audrey. It's that madwoman from Riggs.
I want you to think about what you're planning to do. There's a life inside you if you let it live. A baby with a soul.
Ignore her, come with.
Audrey, you were once that baby.
Why don't you just go home back to your husband? Come on, Fawn.
Audrey had her abortion another day, as I think you knew she would. She put an end to that tiny life, and you sent her a card saying, as you sow, so shall you reap. You telling me that's not a threat?
Of course it wasn't.
Well, what was it then?
It was a warning. A warning of the punishment that awaited her.
I'd like you to come to the station. We need to talk further. She's to stay there.
I have answered.
No, I'm not going to ask you again. Now you talk. Where is she?
We have no idea where Fawn Granger is.
Did you tell her to disappear? Is that it? Something you don't want her to speak to us about?
Is this professional, Sergeant, or personal?
It's a murder inquiry is what it is.
Now, why would we want her to
You
disappear?
give me answers, you don't ask me questions.
I think it's personal, don't you, Mr. Gently? I think the sergeant's smitten. Wouldn't be served a drink by anybody but the lovely young Fawn.
Oh, you think you're so clever, you two, don't you? One girl's missing, another one's dead, and you're just sitting there, taking the mickey out of me.
Sergeant. Did you know that Audrey was pregnant when she left work?
No?
So it wasn't your idea that she had an abortion?
Why would we want her to have an abortion?
That would be illegal.
Do you know who raped Audrey, Mr. Donovan?
Rape? Chief Inspector, do I come across as a man who needs to force myself on women?
According to your wife, you get fed up with him after a couple of weeks. So what happened this time? Audrey get fed up with you? Maybe you hadn't had quite enough yet. Is that what you didn't want Fawn talking to us about?
I want to know where both of you were on Saturday between 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock.
We were here, together.
That's right.
Can anyone confirm that?
The doors were locked, it was our day off. We spent the entire time in bed, if you must know, Sergeant.
What, on a Saturday night? Busiest night of the week?
Oh, we certainly were very busy.
Who killed Audrey?
In my opinion, the answer's been staring you in the face since day one.
Do you mean Margaret Bishop?
Well, see now, Mr. Bacchus. Your boss is just much, much cleverer than you are.
Is that what her husband wanted to talk to you about so urgently?
Joe Bishop came to me to ask for a job with the Rakes organization. He's a very ambitious man.
Really?
So Fawn's been missing 48 hours now. What if we've missed something? What if there's some madman out there with a grudge against women?
Sir? Later. You've been lying to me about your relationship with Fawn Granger. I need all the facts, John. No more evasions.
I slept with her. She's special, you know? Can we find her, please?
By rights, I should take you off this case right now.
No, sir, come on, don't. See, what good is that going to do anybody now?
She was Audrey's friend. Start with the Chadwicks. Where were you on Saturday night, Mrs. Bishop?
At home?
Alone?
No. Joe was with me. My husband. I really don't see why you need me here.
What do you think's happening here, Mrs. Bishop? Why do you think you're here?
Sometimes the Lord lets his enemies persecute the righteous. I trust his wisdom.
You regard yourself as one of the righteous?
I try to be, Chief Inspector. And I don't for the life of me understand why people mock that idea. Wouldn't you prefer to be on the side of good rather than evil? Why are we on this earth otherwise?
I'm not your enemy, Mrs. Bishop. And yes, I do try to spend my life doing good.
Then arrest the abortionists. Arrest the men and women who are planning an act of parliament that will legalise this trade in death. Close down the places where wretched young women are trained to a life of fornication.
What, you mean Rakes Club? I didn't see any fornication there. And what wretchedness I did see seemed to be among the customers rather than the women. Men like your husband.
My husband wouldn't be seen dead in Rakes.
I saw him there myself 2 nights ago.
Complete rubbish.
Come off it, Margaret. You stand outside there night after night with your notebook and your camera. You see all the men. You know your husband goes in there, and you might just as well face up to it, and the humiliation it's caused you. Audrey Chadwick was one of the women who poured drinks for your husband. Is that why you sent her a threatening note? What's more, you confronted her in the street about her abortion, and now she's been murdered.
I'd like to speak to my husband.
No, can't allow that, but I will tell him where you are. Now, I believe that Audrey Chadwick was having an affair with somebody she met at the club. Do you know who that was? This is a search warrant. We are holding your wife pending my investigations into the murder of Audrey Chadwick.
Go down the back.
Sir?
Keep searching. Is there anything you wish to tell me, Mr. Bishop?
She's told you about me and Audrey, hasn't she?
I'd like to hear it from you.
Sorry if I've come at a bad time.
No, sit down. I was just sorting out the order of service for the funeral.
It's very sad, I really am very sorry.
Found the swine that did it?
Not yet, no. Her friend Fawn Granger's gone missing. I was just wondering if she might have contacted you.
Never heard of her.
They worked together at Rakes. Why did you lie to us about Audrey being a nurse, Mr. Chadwick? And why didn't you tell us about the fight that Frank got into at the club? I mean, because you were both there, weren't you?
She was a nurse. My husband
You heard your face, Mrs. Chadwick.
Oh, no, I just slipped in the back scullery, son.
Did you ever row with Audrey about what she did for a living, Mr. Chadwick?
I never spoke a word to her after she took it up. As far as I'm concerned, she was no daughter of mine. Took that away, you.
He's not a bad man, Sergeant.
Did he ever hit Audrey?
He would never hit Audrey. It's only the drink makes him bad.
Was he drinking on Saturday night, the night that Audrey was killed?
He drinks every night.
Do you know where he was?
He was here. I put him to bed.
Before that?
In the pub.
Which pub?
The Robin Hood.
The one by the church. Audrey's landlady thought she heard Frank shouting at Audrey in a flat Saturday tea time, but he was on a football pitch in Stockton. So who was it?
He thought the world of Audrey, son. She was his little girl. He just didn't want her going to London.
Go and bring your husband back down, please, will you? Taking you both to the station. Pack a bag because you might have to stay overnight.
It all started innocently enough. Know the truth. There was never anything innocent about it, not from the very first moment.
A government lawyer? No wonder Mr. Donovan told me to be especially nice to you. Actually, Joe, I think I could use your help myself.
How may I help you, please?
Could you? I'd be so grateful. Thank you.
Good choice, Joe.
Don't be misled by the place, Chief Inspector. The girls are only bait. It's not about sex, it's about gambling. It's where the profit is. Patrick Donovan has a 10-year-old conviction in America for blackmail. If I'd have told my superiors at the Home Office, he'd have been deported. But I didn't. And Audrey was my reward. She called herself Blaze. Nothing was real.
Leave your troubles at the door, Joe. This is the place where dreams come true.
And even though I knew that she was with me because she'd been told to, yet I still went along with it. Soon it was out of control. Forbidden flesh, Mr. Gently. And oh, the taste of that flesh.
You became lovers?
I would have given her the world, but she was happy with a bunch of flowers. I would have shown her the finest hotels money can buy, but for safety's sake, we used the sordid little chalet she had the use of. Do you know what? Didn't matter. I loved her with all my heart. My wife, I believe to be a kind of saint, Mr. Gently. So sure about good and evil. So clear-minded as to her objectives. She burns with righteous anger that I cannot live up to. I'm not a saint, I'm afraid.
I haven't done anything, man!
Put him in a cell.
Just, yeah. Come on, then, big man, you do it!
Put some coffee down his throat.
You deaf or what? Hey, come on.
Sorry, Mrs. Chadwick. In here, please.
Sarge, Frank Allen's just come walking in off the street. I have him in room 2.
Right.
You think I'm a stupid middle-aged man. And you're not far wrong. Reality had to reassert itself, and it did. She got pregnant.
You weren't taking precautions?
Never even occurred to me, Chief Inspector. Wasn't real life, after all.
She wasn't either.
Obviously not.
And?
That was the point at which the sheer madness of what I'd been doing came home to me. I told her it was all over between us. But I offered to stand by her, admit to being the father, support her afterwards, whatever the cost to me. But she took no notice. She went and got an abortion. As you probably knew from the autopsy.
I also know she was raped, Mr. Bishop.
Raped?
Not by you, then?
Why would I rape Audrey? She gave herself to me.
Then do you know who else would have done it?
Her ex, Frank something.
I think I know he hit Audrey more than once. Audrey told me. That's all I can suggest. Poor Audrey.
Do you and your wife have children, Mr. Bishop?
No, we couldn't. Well, as we both now knew, Margaret couldn't. How humiliating that was for her.
And how did your wife find out about you and Audrey?
I told Margaret everything. I wanted to live in the light. Admit to my stupidity. See what could be salvaged.
How did she react?
As if nothing had happened. As if I'd said nothing. Margaret has a way of denying anything she couldn't deal with.
Your wife says that the idea of your being in Rake's Club is complete rubbish.
That doesn't surprise me. She stands there night after night with that camera. I used to cover my face with a scarf, pull my head down. It's just one more thing she couldn't admit to. Just one more humiliation for her.
Where are those photographs?
In a dark room, I suppose.
Sorry I noted you.
You will be when the judges finish with you. You didn't know about Audrey's abortion, did you? Why did you flush your pills down the loo, Frank? Because she was sleeping with somebody else, wasn't she? Who? Whoever it was, Frank. Maybe the man that raped her.
Rape?
Who was it? You and Ronnie Chadwick went to Rake's and you picked a fight with Patrick Donovan. Why?
He had his hands all over her. Like she belonged to him.
You haven't charged her or anything, have you?
No. Where were you on Saturday night, Mr. Bishop?
Me? I was here.
Alone?
No. Margaret was in here.
I'm going to need to keep these.
Chief Inspector May, I see my wife.
No, not yet, I'm afraid. And don't go anywhere, I may need to speak to you again. Audrey had an affair with Joe Bishop. And she got pregnant by him.
Patrick Donovan, you mean?
Bishop admits it. Confessed the whole thing to his wife.
What?
Yeah.
Joe Bishop?
Yeah. He might say they were lovers. My guess is it was all part of the job for Audrey. And he thinks Frank Allingham might have been the rapist.
Nah, he's not clever enough to lie this well. He thinks it was Donovan.
What if the rapist and the murderer weren't the same person?
Margaret Bishop, you mean? Nah. How can she move a body on her own?
Maybe she didn't move it on her own.
Joe Bishop?
Possibly. He's absolutely full of guilt.
All this because of an affair?
No, think about it. Her husband's child, the child they could never have together, by the way, murdered by Audrey.
And Fawn.
Yeah.
That would explain why she's made herself scarce, wouldn't it? So what about Ronnie Chadwick, then? I mean, you see, he's given his wife a beating, right? She's got a bruise on her right cheek, same as what Audrey had.
Leads with his left.
Yeah. And his wife says he was at Audrey's flat on Saturday tea time.
You stay on him.
Right.
I'll stick with Margaret Bishop. Can you tell me what each of these is, please?
My house keys. Back door, front door, garden shed.
And this one?
My dark room.
You keep your dark room locked?
Not usually.
The camera has a new film in it. When did you start it?
Over the weekend sometime.
What's on it?
You, your sergeant.
Have this film developed, will you? And check these to see if any of them fit the lock to Audrey Chadwick's room.
Sir.
Ah.
I've never seen them before.
Check those as well.
I don't understand what's going on.
Don't you? I think those are the keys to Audrey Chadwick's room.
Why would I have keys to her room?
So that you could return and clean up any evidence of the murder. Did you kill Audrey Chadwick, Mrs. Bishop?
Why would I do that?
Because she was having an affair with your husband. Because she got pregnant by him, something you could never achieve. Because she had her baby aborted, something that you regard as murder. Your husband told us everything.
He's what?
Told us everything he told you.
I want to speak to Joe. Where is he?
Can't allow that.
I'd like to pray.
You lost your temper, Ronnie, and who could blame you? There is your daughter, giving up a career as a nurse and spending her life dressed like jailbait and screwing a married man. Well, it's true, isn't it? You lost your temper and you used your fists. It's in your blood, isn't it?
All right, yeah. Yeah, right, I hit her, right. I hit my own daughter. I didn't want her to go to London. I wanted her to stay here. Settle down. Give her mother grandbairns. It's all I wanted.
You hit her, right? And everything went quiet. Why was that? What did you hit her with? Did you kill your daughter, Ronnie?
I love that lass. I slapped her face, and all I wanted to do after was cut my own hand off. I was ashamed.
Sometime before she was murdered, your daughter was raped. Any idea who did it?
Did you have to tell me that?
I'm sorry, but we need to know. Another girl's life is at risk. What about Frank? Ronnie, what about Frank? Because he knew that she was two-timing him. Could he have raped her?
I don't know.
Never mind praying, Margaret. Tell me again, where were you on Saturday?
I was at a prayer meeting until the early evening.
And then?
I got home around 7 and spent the rest of the evening in my dark room.
Was your husband there?
Joe was downstairs watching TV. I came down at about 9 and we had a light supper together and then we went to bed.
Do you share a bed?
No, not anymore.
Separate rooms?
Yes. I don't know anything about those keys. Somebody must have put them in my bag.
One of the Lord's enemies, maybe.
Mock me if you must, but don't mock the Lord.
Sir, Ronnie Chadwick admits he was there and that he hit her, but nothing else. I reckon he thinks that Frank could have raped her. What about her?
Says she was home with Joe.
Mr. Bishop's arrived, sir. I've put him in a room. And the ice pick's got her prints all over it. And it fits the wound on the dead woman's head.
Wow.
Bring it to me.
Yes, sir.
Somebody checking those keys?
Yes, sir. And the film's on the way from the lab.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
Take heed, John.
Thank you for coming in, Mr. Bishop.
I want to talk to Margaret.
Not yet. Tell us again about Saturday night.
I was watching the television, as I told you.
So what time?
All evening.
Where was your wife?
As I said, she was upstairs in her dark room.
How can you be sure? It's a big house.
No. Margaret was there. I could hear her moving about.
Even though you were downstairs? With the telly on? How can you be so sure that your wife didn't leave the house, Mr. Bishop?
Margaret could not have done this, Chief Inspector. She's not capable of what you are thinking.
Now, she said she didn't see you until she came downstairs at 9, so you yourself are unaccounted for until that time.
I told you, I was watching the television.
What was on?
The football results. Doctor Who, Jungle Boy, Jukebox Jury.
Name one of the records on Jukebox Jury.
Jerry and the Pacemakers, It's Gonna Be All Right.
Was it a hit or a miss?
I can't remember.
So I ask again, how do you know that Margaret was in her dark room all that time if you were watching TV so avidly?
Margaret doesn't tell lies. Margaret...
We found some keys in her bag that I believe are the keys to Audrey's room.
This isn't just about Audrey, right? Fawn Granger is missing.
What?
Fawn, who went with Audrey for the abortion. Another murderer, in your wife's opinion.
What's up?
Bloody hell.
From your wife's camera.
Margaret came home at midnight on Saturday night. She seemed distressed. She locked herself in her bedroom. I didn't see her till morning. God help us. This is all my fault.
I'm going to talk to your wife again. You know, I suggest that you go home and pack her a bag because she's going to need it. And when you come back, then you can spend some time with her, but not alone.
How can I face her after what I've done to her? Tell Margaret I'm sorry.
Where is Fawn, Mrs. Bishop? Mrs. Bishop! What are you doing?
I'm praying for her soul. And for mine.
Stand up, please, Mrs. Bishop. Come on. This point exactly matches the wound to Audrey Chadwick's head. Your husband has told us that you came home after midnight on Saturday in a distressed state and locked yourself away for the rest of the night. Now, do you have anything to tell me, Mrs. Bishop?
I murdered Audrey Chadwick. May God forgive me.
Margaret Bishop, I'm charging you with the murder of Audrey Chadwick. You do not have to say anything, but anything you do say will be taken down and may be used in evidence against you. Do you have anything to say?
I'd like to speak to Joe.
Your husband's gone home.
Tell him I forgive him for what he's done to me. Tell him I understand. And tell him I love him.
Any news on phone?
Oh, no, Sarge. With 3 regulars at the Robin Hood pub, remember seeing Ronnie Chadwick on Saturday night.
Doesn't matter anymore. But keep him and his wife here for the time being. I've got some news for them. How did she get the body to the church on her own?
I don't know. Probably one of those nutters in the God Squad helped her. This religion thing is mental, isn't it?
My wife was a devout Catholic, Sergeant.
Sorry, I meant Margaret Bishop. It's mental that she's taking photographs of everybody and everything. Do you know, I think she wanted to get caught. So that weird Catholic guilt stuff.
If you say that one more time, we won't have to wait until charity night. I'll punch you now.
Those keys do fit Audrey Chadwick's lock, sir.
Excellent. Thank you, Taylor. There's always the husband. He could have helped her.
Do you think she killed Fawn as well, sir? Sir, do you think she killed Fawn as well? Sir? Don't think you care about Fawn, do you, sir?
Slow down. Shut up a minute. Have another look at those. Who am I looking for? Who isn't there? Keep looking. Who isn't going in the front door of Rake's Club?
Look at that.
Not your best angle.
Okay, who's in there?
Patrick and Helen Donovan. What's that to you? That there must be a back entrance.
But we checked round the back of the club, sir. There's no other way into that building.
This is getting boring.
There's another entrance, isn't there?
How very clever of you, yes, for Patrick and me, at the back through the adjoining building.
Did Joe Bishop use the other entrance?
Yes, why?
She never knew he came here. Who else didn't show up in the photographs? Joe Bishop. Margaret Bishop never knew he came here because he used the private entrance.
Well, what difference does it make? He confessed about the affair.
Well, he said he did. Remember what she said? Tell him I still love him. Tell him I forgive him for everything that he's done to me.
About the affair and the abortion.
No. Who sank Margaret Bishop's alibi? Who had access to her camera? Who had the most to lose if Audrey told her story?
Joe did.
Yeah. And who did she tell the story to?
Fawn.
I let him go. Mrs. Donovan, I think Fawn's life is in danger. If you know where she is, you must tell me.
I don't know.
You don't care about Fawn or Audrey as long as it doesn't affect your takings.
Do you know anything about a chalet? Audrey and Joe used a chalet. Do you know where it is?
Collar coats.
I've informed the Home Office of your husband's criminal record. You'll be leaving this small island quite soon. Arm yourself, follow me there, and bring Margaret Bishop. We may need her to talk to him.
get in. Follow us! If you've got any prayers left, now would be a good time.
I'm not a wicked man. I'm just a fool. You know, I did that shameful thing to her. She despised me after that, didn't she?
It was you that raped her. I thought she meant it was Patrick.
She never told you it was me.
No. You killed Audrey, didn't you?
Oh, come on, Fawn, you knew that. You know she came to see me on Saturday night. She told me so.
What?
When she came to say she was walking out with me.
She told me she was going home to pack.
I needn't have come here. I didn't need to come here.
It's right here. Right. Right.
That's Joe's car.
I would never tell. I'll tell him it was Patrick that killed her.
Margaret's already been charged with Blaze's murder.
How could you do that to her?
She's been a martyr doing justice for years now. I've just given her what she's always wanted in a way. Everybody wanted to believe it was her. I just helped them.
Well, then it was just a rape. Look, I won't tell. You can trust me. I promise. Look, I promise. I swear to God.
Now you stay in the car!
Sir. He's definitely here, so we've just seen his car.
Which number?
I don't know, sir. I don't know. What do we do now?
John, don't shoot unless you have to. Bishop!
Call police out here!
Fawn, it's John!
No, it's not on.
No!
Yeah, please.
Told you about making love to Audrey in the chalet. That's not the way it was, really. I thought it was time she gave me some of what she'd put in the shop window.
What the hell do you want? Why can't you take no for an answer?
But I wasn't really hearing the word no. I'm sick of all this teasing.
Why didn't you just tell the police about it?
Money? Enough for a new life in London?
Nice knowing you, Blaze.
So I lose my job then?
I'm afraid so. We don't like our girls to fool around with the customers. Do we, Patrick?
That's right, Helen. We don't tolerate that.
She used some of the money to pay for the abortion. I never expected to see her again.
What happened on Saturday night, Joe?
She came to tell me she was leaving for London. She came to tell me exactly what she thought of me. I was glad to see her. I wanted the chance to apologise for what I'd done.
You, Mr. Bishop, are a pathetic flake of codshite. I pity you. You won't ruin my life. I'll rise far above and beyond you, and one day I'll look down on you and I'll laugh. I'll laugh at you and your pathetic wife and your pathetic little life.
I really love you.
Oh, don't try anything stupid, Joe. People know I'm here. Phone knows I'm here. And if you so much as lay another finger on me, I'll go to the police.
Once I'd hit her, I knew I had to kill her.
Did the Donovans get off scot-free?
No, Rakes is closing down and the Donovans are being deported.
Well, see ya.
Go on, talk to her. I want you back in 5 minutes.
Phone.
I should have said thank you for saving my life.
Well, part of the job. So, what are your plans then?
Same as always. Except they won't involve going back to work, seeing as you got it shut down.
Sorry.
I wouldn't have gone back there anyway.
What are your plans?
Why do you want to know, Sergeant?
You know why I want to know, Fawn.
I'm going to do what Audrey wanted me to do. Follow the dream.
What's the dream?
A man that I can rely on. 4 kids. I want what your wife probably thought she was getting, John.
I hope you find it.
I will.
In the red corner, representing the senior ranks, Chief Inspector George. Go get him gently. And in the blue corner, the Lindisfarne lift himself, Sergeant John Bakamalikan.
What's my name? I'm so pretty, you tell that ugly bear my name.
Right, I want a fair contest. No spitting, no gouging.
Gouging? We're only messing about, man. Mind the nose, George. Still a bit sore.
Is it?
Come on then, Let's go. Second out, round